It's just different.
What's up, everyone? Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Pay Attention, right? I'm joined by a mental health enthusiast, right? Someone that's actually very big on his mental health and uplifting and creating a positive mental health within other people as well. So without further ado, I'm going to let him introduce himself, and tell you guys what he does.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that. Hands clap to you, man. We got to clap it up for you first off before we even get to me. So I appreciate you for allowing me to be on y'all podcast. And before I tap in, I'm Alpha Khalfani, man. And yeah, like you said, I'm a big enthusiastic. I'm becoming alpha, whether you're male or female, it's all in us. So just taking control of yourself, your mind, body, and soul, every aspect of life.
Perfect, man. And just so people can make sure this episode of Pay Attention, of course, we're going to talk about financial awareness, right? We're going to talk about financial literacy after the interview with Mr. Khalfani. But of course, right, remember that mental health is something that a lot of people face, right? Something that I really thought was important was that we actually publicize how it is okay to talk about your mental state with people. And so with this episode, I really hope that we can really not only just ourselves talk about mental health, but of course just create solutions for other people to follow, because man, 2022, it's a lot going on. It's a lot of influences. It's a lot of distractions. It's a lot of everything. So let's get lit, man. I'm super duper excited. Where were you originally born, man, if you don't mind me asking?
For sure. I was originally born in Rockford, Illinois. It's a small city outside of Chicago. It's about an hour away. Yeah, that's where I was originally born. I've been living in Dallas for about 7-8 years now.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so how old were you when you moved from Illinois?
I was 10 turning 11, or I was 11 turning 12. Either one of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you was kind of already familiar with that environment of Illinois in the sense of the layout, friends, family, everything.
Oh yeah. I know the city like the back. So yeah, that's how that was.
Okay, well, what was your like at home life growing up, man? Any siblings, right, like that, man?
So it wasn't any siblings inside of my household because my mama just had me, but my father has about 11 kids now. So he didn't have 11 kids back then, but I'm number 7. So growing up, I think he had like another child 3 years later after me. So yeah, I pretty much was around all of them all the time if I wasn't in the house. But I stayed pretty around everybody, like, the family, because the whole family lived in the city. So we was never alone, if that makes sense.
Okay. So when you transitioned out of Dallas, that's when you were actually more so alone with your mom. So what was that transition like, man? What was that new experience like?
It was pretty depressing in the beginning, but I mean, I got through it. A lot of opportunities came at hand. It's a big environment. It's something that, people from like small cities not really used to. Big cities, really may not know how to take opportunity that's in hand. So, but I actually did, and there's a lot of opportunities in Texas. So it was a weird adjustment just because I was like a family person. But besides that, I've always known that this is ultimately better for me, and I wasn't thinking about going back. So.
Okay, so just because of, the topic, man, depression, man, or mental health, do you feel like you kind of slipped into that because of you moving away from family, you having to get uncomfortable, you having to kind of rely on yourself?
Yeah, see, you could say I was depressed, but like, that didn't really take over me. It took over me during the time because it was just like, it was something new, but it didn't really last long. So that wasn't really more so too hard on me. I kind of adjusted pretty quick. Yeah. And but yeah, depression didn't really last long for me, or I didn't really understand depression. I just was, I just was sad, like, all my cousins.
Lonely. Yeah.
I wasn't really, it didn't last too long, basically.
Okay. Yeah, it was just more that first euphoria of that first, realizing you actually moving away.
Yeah,
doing something different.
it hard, like, you know, when you just think about it, because you around your family every day. You just go on different places, you know, you just around everybody. And so now when we moved here, it was just me and my mom, and that just was, you know, it was hard, but we got through it. We've been getting through it, and that ultimately made me and her more powerful. See, we run and show our aspirations to the people that's closest to us, whether it's friends, families, cousins, whatever. The people that you are mostly close to, you're going to share your aspirations with. That's just something that's going to happen. Now, it is to them people who and how they respond to what you're bringing to them. A lot of people, see, we don't do what we want to do because the people around us don't see our visions, when they're not necessarily supposed to. But just because I don't see your vision don't mean I can't uplift your vision. You see what I'm saying? And that's where we really have to create a difference between the way that we communicate with each other. Because, for example, just because I want to be the fastest track star in the world doesn't mean that it can't happen. But for you, you might look at me and be like, whoa, hold on, Usain Bolt faster than you, Tyreek Hill faster than you, you got all these people who faster than you hear that, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to tear me down ultimately, to where therefore I might not have that spark anymore to go after what I wanted to do. But if you came to me and you said, man, yeah, you could be that, but you're going to have to put in this amount of work. You're going to have to do this on a daily. You're going to have to be this consistent. You see what I'm saying? That's going to give me a different aspect on what I want to do. So therefore I can complete that knowing that somebody else sees that I'm close to. You see what I'm saying? And that's really them differences that we got to create as far as our friends and being influences. Because ultimately the things that I say to you matter. The things that you say to me matter. So we got to know how to respond to it.
When did you actually reflect and say, you know what I'm saying, it's time for me to start improving my mental health, you know, and what's one habit you started practicing to start improving mental health?
Yeah, so it was after I had graduated high school, probably like a couple months after I graduated high school. So we're talking about like 2020. And yeah, so my brother had shifted his existence. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to say he passed away. I'm not going to say he's dead, but he shifted his existence to on August 10th. And that really affected me heavily because we was best friends. You see what I'm saying? Like, even though he's my brother, but ultimately he was my best friend. So it played a big part on how I feel today and why I push myself so much today, because I had two options. I could either go down the hole that I've been going, which was destruction, and I wasn't gonna see my dream at the end of the day. Years was just gonna pass me by. Or I could take control of what I already knew I had inside of me, that I've been had placed. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes we could shift away from what we already know that we're capable of. And so therefore, sadly, that event had shifted me to a place to where I knew I had to get myself together because of what was happening that, you know, was reality at the end of the day. So one habit that I could say that really shifted my mindset was meditation. Meditation and taking the time to listen to, because I would have missed out. I mean, not I would have missed out, but I would have bypassed a lot of things if I would have really just listened. You see what I'm saying? Even from early on, because I had a big problem with listening older, and that more so. Oh, sorry about that, brother. Yeah, I had a big problem with listening to older people, and that really comes from like school and things like that, dealing with teachers. So seeing that teachers is older than you and I have problems with them, it kind of leads you to being that way at home or being that way around certain other adults. So I had kind of grew up with that mentality that, yeah, you know what I'm saying, I know what's best for me. I don't really got to listen too much. And all that stuff staggered. You see what I'm saying? Like all that all that stuff staggered, and it kind of exploded. So therefore I was like, yeah, I gotta really be able to listen and be able to take my perspective outside of what people are trying to tell me, because ultimately I have to realize people are trying to benefit us when they're telling us things that can benefit us. You know, see, a lot of the times, like, just because somebody will be saying something good, you know, but you won't perceive it as that way because you're not realizing what is it coming from, what's the root. And that's a big thing that I had a problem with, especially even with my moms and with just like people around me, like family or older people that's just putting me on. But I didn't see it as putting me on because I wasn't able to receive that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't ready for that. So one thing that really shifted me is being able to take myself out of situations and really just open the door for what's able to come in, whether I fully agree with it, whether I fully act on it or not. But I want to be able to dissect what people are saying to me because they're talking to me. You know, I got to be able to receive these things the correct way.
Welcome back. We are tuned in with Pay Attention, talking to the Alpha Mentality Podcast group. So I'm excited, man. I want to shout out Mr. moneyymannron and Mr. Alpha Khalfani for hopping on. But first, we did just have Mr. Ron join us. So definitely, okay, man. So this first question is pretty much going to be the best question, man. You know, my first question is, how did the launch of Alpha Mentality, the podcast, really start, man? What made y'all say, let's get together and let's do this?
Man, it's really crazy because, like, it's already like talking about podcasts, but not talking about like doing one. And I'm like, shoot, let's do one. He said, let's do it. And then, you know, long story short, we here today. So
yeah, facts, man. The beginning. So okay, so with that, Ron, what made you say mental health is gonna be our niche?
Like, to me, cause we got a lot of things to talk about, but like first, you know, we know like you trying to build something. It start up here first, and I think everybody know that because it don't matter like the things you have, the resources. If you're not right here, all that gonna go. So, you know, and then on top of that, that's something that we do that in our personal time. Like, we always be talking about that. So that's something that we just want to just share that, you know, just share everybody, because, you know, like, it's a lot of stuff that be going on. So we feel like right now that's important because things crazy.
Yeah. So, and we wanted to get the people, like he said, people minds right first before we go deep into some of the things that we kind of want to go deeper into later on within our podcast. So our foundation was more so, well, let's uplift our community. Let's uplift the people that's listening to us to where they can be able to vibrate high and be able to perceive what we're trying to talk to them about. So that's kind of why we started off with the group, and that's the mind, like you said.
That's how y'all kind of created the foundation of Alpha Mentality, to uplift and empower and, of course, educate the community. You know what I'm saying? On what a powerful mindset is before we talk about how to even change it, you know, in a sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, lit. So, you know, I'm pretty sure that y'all, you know what I'm saying, have a lot of talks about mental health, you know, as men, you know, as brothers, as friends, as business partners, you know. So my thing is, man, men don't often communicate about mental health. Oftentimes, mental health and men aren't even associated in the same sentence. You know, it's often looked as a female, you know what I'm saying, problem. And I think that's a misconception. I think that's a myth, you know, and I think men also deal with mental health, but sometimes most men don't publicize or communicate, you know what I'm saying, their adversity, you know, what they're going through. So my question is, you know, how can we as men hold each other accountable and improve mental health for both of you, man? Definitely, I want to hear.
Well, me, I think it's more like, you know, you gotta just like, it's not even thinking like girl like or nothing. It's just like, bro, like, if you truly want to lead, like, you can't be messed up in the mind. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to lead, so you gotta have the right mindset to do that. Cause, you know, ain't nobody's finna just follow no crazy person. So, you know, like, I think it's important to lead like the way you want to. You know, just like we say, be an alpha. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta have your head in all the places. So that's how I be looking at it. Like, it start off with me first. You know what I'm saying? I'm take a step back and see what you want in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about like what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like take a step back, think of what you want, write it down, and think of what all gonna help you. You know, like do the things that you want to do, and you know the things that they want to do. It's just like start with yourself first, though. You know, because that's where the thoughts be coming from. You think about I gotta do that. Nah, start yourself. You know what I'm saying? Calm down, and then for me. Like, you know, I'm real into meditate. Like, bro, I like to meditate, so like that helped me too. And then, like, sometimes you know I'll disconnect from people and just like truly like get into myself. You know what I'm saying? And that helps me. You know what I'm saying just find your space and find who you are. You know what I'm saying?
Real talk. Nah, definitely. Alpha, how about you, man?
Some steps that men could take.
Yeah, man. What are some things men can do to improve our mental health?
Yeah, some things that we can do first off is understand who we are, history wise, physically wise, DNA wise, things like that. We need to know the history. Our journey started from learning our history. It don't start nowhere else, you know what I'm saying? Because your history is you. Your history is your future. So that's really important, is understanding your history, because one thing as us as black men in America, our history stops at 400 years. And that's not true at all. You see what I'm saying? But that's just how we perceive life, or that's just how we go about it. So one thing I would really tap into is understand your history so you can understand yourself. I'm big on evaluation. You see what I'm saying? Like he said, always evaluate. And sometimes we don't want to do that, but it's needed, and it's needed often. So evaluate the people that's around you and really dissect if they're becoming beneficial to you or not. One thing that really is going to change your life is understanding that beneficial is not temporary. Beneficial is you. Beneficial is life, you know what I'm saying, towards what you got going. So when we can shift our minds to that, and we realize that, yeah, I don't have to wait on a 2-second happiness or this certain moment to get me happy and things like that, then we really become better ultimately on a daily, where we can live a positive life. And that's not really normal for somebody. You will say, oh, you ain't rich, why you not you know what I'm saying, you ain't happy, right. Things like that. We associate happiness with money, or the things that can bring happiness from money, which is good because that's just a part of it. That's part of the work that you do. But ultimately, you don't need that to feel great every day, to have a lot of energy flowing through your body.
Real talk. Okay, nah, that's real, man. So now, right, with our community, right, what are some ways Alpha Mentality plans to involve the community, impact the community, and keep the community in it? Because most times we're in these environments where when we get away from our friends, the negative environment can sometimes be the home environment, right? Can sometimes be the immediate family, can sometimes be the immediate friends. So, right, what are some things what are some things y'all plan to do to kind of actually use Alpha Mentality as awareness in the community?
Yeah, so we plan to do a lot of things, honestly. First off, we have an organization called Bias Helping Hands. It's named after my grandmother, but me and moneyymannron here are going to be running the organization. And basically it's a nonprofit organization to where we're helping homeless people, you know what I'm saying? And we're not just helping homeless people, we're helping them with necessities. And the thing is we have a huge plan, a big plan for the future, because right now we're starting off with helping them with necessities, but ultimately we want to build shelters and build compounds that could necessarily change somebody's life in all aspects, you know what I'm saying? And it starts with homeless people, because it's a lot of homeless people around, and we disassociate our regular day-to-day lives with homeless people. So that right there is really a big pinpoint that we want to dive into the community, because they are the community, you see what I'm saying? For sure.
So Ron, what's your passion, man? You know what I'm saying? Why is helping the homeless something that you would like to be a part of as well?
Well, like really, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like 2 years ago, I wasn't really worried about helping the homeless. But really what helped me was like actually like a point, like I actually went through it. You know what I'm saying? So the people that like that I saw that was crazy, know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, like they homeless. When I actually was going through it, I was talking to them. It's like, okay, well, like some of these people are actually some of the most wisest people that I have talked to. You know what I'm saying? And they helped me find myself in a way. So it's more as me, like me as my passion is. It's you know, because I went through it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I know how some of the people think, and some people just need to be put in a better position again, and they smarter. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, like, it's just different if like you actually go through something. You know what I'm saying? And like you felt it. You know what I'm saying? Rather than you just feeling bad for it. No, like I felt that. You know what I'm saying? And I know how it felt. You trying to call people, you can't get it. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Sleeping outside, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what you're gonna eat the next day. Like that stuff that's not what it is. So like that's my, you know, that's my thing that like really helped me, because it's like, bro, like went through it.
Yeah.
And then, bro, now,
yeah. What'd you say?
Now, if I walk, like, bro, I can't even walk past one without just trying to like throw $10, $5. I can't. I do it all the time now. And crazy part, I don't want no recognition from it. It's just like I feel your pain, brother. Like that's how, you know.
Yeah. No, facts, man. And the fact that I think that is more so from a genuine place of you want to give back, I think that's the best thing to do, man. You know, because most times, you know, I feel like most people don't embrace homeless, and embracing doesn't mean giving them money, but realizing these are people. They still have feelings. They still have thoughts. They still got to live with the decisions they made, you know, and that's probably the most painful thing, is them actually in the reality of the decisions I made 20 years ago. I have to, in a sense, you know, I'm an example to everyone else, you know, without me choosing to be an example, you know, because of just the decisions I made in my past. And I feel like most people, you know, kind of shy away or they see them as a disgust, you know, instead of embracing them, talking to them. Like me, sometimes I'll give them food bags. I work with the food bank, you know, and I'll give away a food bag. It comes with water, you know, light things, snacks, chips, you know what I'm saying, bacterial wipes, you know, sanitizer, things like that. Just like a little sack, you know, probably about 5 to 10 pounds, you know what I'm saying, but something simple. And sometimes I give them that. Sometimes I even give them a hug, because I realize it's not even about your condition. It's just about like the fact that you're still here, you know, because you could be dead right now. You could have committed suicide. You could have OD'd, you know, and the fact that you said, you know what I'm saying, I still have life, you know, to me, that's just important, man, because most of the time, bro, like you said, those are probably some of the wisest people you ever talk to. They probably give you some of the best wisdom, or some of the, you know what I'm saying, best insight, you know. So really get into that next level. Who are you studying in that industry, you know?
Tony Robinson, Sadhguru, Bob Proctor. I like 19 Keys. I do a lot of comedic wisdom. So I'm big on comedic wisdom, because like I said, you got to know your history. Your history is you. So that's really who I study as far as, like, you know, uplifting people, because they done a lot of, besides race, you know, Bob Proctor and Tony Robinson, you know, they two white guys who make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it ain't never been about just that with them, and I respect it.
I have queued up 1 minute on the Apple Watch. It's going to start after I read the first question, right? 3, 2, when is your birthday?
June 27th.
Okay, what's your astrology sign?
It's Cancer.
Okay, what's your favorite color?
Red.
Favorite sports team?
Don't keep up.
Okay, shoe size?
Oh, nah.
Cardio or weights?
Weights. Cardio.
Okay, if you could travel anywhere, where would you go?
Africa. Egypt.
Private jet versus private yacht?
Oh, jet.
High rise or townhome?
High rise.
Okay, boom. Okay, now you good. Favorite fruit?
Raspberries all day long. Boy,
okay, dream car.
Mazzy.
Okay, okay, prayer or meditation?
Meditation.
Okay, saving or investing?
Investing.
So we're gonna look at Ethereum today, and what I'm gonna do is simply click the chart anywhere, and I'm going to search ETH, right? USD. So I'm going to click crypto, and of course you can see all of the different markets that TradingView has access to look at: stocks, futures, forex, crypto, index, bonds, economy, right? As you can see. So we're going to look at Ethereum versus USD today, right? Ethereum, ETH, USD, which is literally short for the Ethereum versus US dollar. So what we're going to talk about today is called a top-down analysis, right? A top-down analysis. So boom, let me do this.
What that is?
How you say what?
What minute chart that is?
So right now, this is the 4-hour chart. We're looking at the 4-hour chart. And so to actually start, I'm going to probably start off from a month perspective, right? Well, let me see. Okay, that's kind of weird. I think okay, perfect. So I'm going to do it daily. So what we're talking about today is a top-down, right, analysis. Right, and so with this top-down analysis is pretty much going to be is a way of you to identify structure, right? It's going to be a way for you to identify structure, right, within market, right? So I'm not going to go into it because it's not hard. But of course, if I was to just speed through it, it would confuse a lot of people. So I'm going to actually go through it. I'm not going to break down everything, but I'm going to break down some of the main essentials. So the first thing I want you guys to know is that the market is going to move. The market is going to move in 3 directions, right? Those 3 directions are going to be identified, right, as an uptrend, right, a downtrend, as well as consolidation, right? Pretty simple. So in other words, the market is going to move in 3 directions, right? Up, down, and sideways. And so when we're looking at all of these trends, right, we can identify the trend, and that's going to help us understand when to buy or sell a market. So when we're looking at this currency pair, again, we're looking at Ethereum versus US dollar today, and we are on the day chart. So what I'm going to do is look for what we call a support, right? A support is another word for floor, right? So I'm going to identify a support in the market, right, with a horizontal line, right? So here I identify a floor in the market, right? So what makes me bring up this line is because of these candles. So let me bring up this, right? We have these candlesticks that are wicking this entry, right? So we can see that on this blue line, there have been multiple occurrences of the market hitting this blue line, right? This is 1, 2 examples. Even if we was to back test, right, we could see in the past, market has hit this blue line before in reverse direction. Whether it went up or down, the market has hit this blue line in reverse direction, right? So can y'all see that?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, bet. So that's how we're going to start off with our support. Now, next, we're going to look at what we call our resistance, right? Which is another word for ceiling, right? So what I'm going to do is identify our resistance with another horizontal line. So the highest point of rejection that I can identify, right, is right around here, right? And I can identify that rejection right here. I can identify that rejection right here, right? As well as the rejection right here. Right.
So the resistance don't gotta all the way be all the way at the top.
It can be, right? But I'm just using it as right here as a gauge because current price is right around this actual blue line right now, which just means that this is possibly a chance for another move.
Okay.
So with Ethereum right now, we went to a 1-day chart. Now, why do we call it a top-down analysis, right? Because we're going to break this time frame down into what we call a 4-hour, right? And so now what we're going to do is change our chart to a line chart. Right, this is a cheat code that I do where I actually am going to do the same exact thing. So what I just did on the first chart, which was the day chart, now that I've changed it to a 4-hour perspective, a 4-hour view, I'm going to do the same thing. But this time I'm going to change the colors of my supports and resistance. So here, right, if I change this color, let's say I just change this to green. Right, let me do something different because I see it's kind of already matching the line on my hub. So let's say I did orange, right? I've identified another support, another floor, right, on this 4-hour. Now, if I do the same thing with another ceiling, right, potentially, right, I can see multiple occurrences where I can see the orange line, the market has hit here before. Right, let me just zoom in for you guys. Where I can see that the market has hit this orange line before right here, right? I can also see the market did the same thing in a similar instance right here, right? And of course, we can see the market kind of fluctuating, going back and forth within this range right here over time, right? Breaking and retesting, breaking and retesting. So pretty much one thing that's common, right, is how we're drawing these lines, these blue and orange lines, we're looking at the market for resistance. So whenever the market rejects, meaning we see a sharp turn, that's a form of resistance. So if we was to break this out, right, and zoom out, right, we can now see some new structure, right? But this is a top-down analysis, right? It's going to get deeper. This is how you are able to, in my course, take $100 to $1,000 within 13 days because you have access to a top-down analysis, right? Where our goal is 25 pips. So when you're looking at 25 pips on a market like this, it's easier to catch 25 pips because you're scalping, but you have a top-down analysis, so you're always confirmed with the trend. Right now, I know that could be interesting, that could be confusing to some people, but again, that's just some lingo. But as you tune in, as you continue to trade, as you continue to learn and educate yourself, you'll be able to pick up. But of course, we're gonna do the same exact thing. We went from a day with a blue line to a 4-hour with the orange line. Now that we change it to our hour chart, right, we changed it to an hour chart. I'm going to change the color of this line, right? Let's say we're going to change it to, right, pink or red, right? Now I've identified this line right in between, right? I can see the same thing, right? Market hit right here. I can see the market rejected right here, right? Let me know if this is making sense, Deron. Let me know if this is making sense, Alpha. I can see the market rejecting right here. Y'all see what I'm seeing?
Are you a scalper or a day trader?
Both. So I day trade, man, but 25 pips, there's not a lot of pips that could be seen as scalping, man. So typically, I would say scalping, man, because 25 pips is not a lot. That could be 25 pips on one trade, right? Or that could be 25 pips on multiple trades, right? But 25 pips in a day typically will help me accomplish a goal. We successfully did a top-down analysis of the 1 day, 4-hour, and 1 hour chart. So if I was to go back to the 1 day perspective, right? If I was to zoom out, right? And if I was to change the candlestick back to the Hakanashi candles, right? Hakanashi is just Japanese for momentum, right? Meaning momentum candles, right? If I could come back into this perspective right here, right? Now, when I break down the market, let's say I go to a 15-minute chart, right? If I break down to a 15-minute chart, okay, I didn't want to zoom in that right there, right? Boom, right? So now all I'm doing is waiting for the market to move, right? And what's most common is what we call a break and retest. So with where the market is currently at right now, it could do one thing. It could do two things, right? It could break below, right? And then it could retest to this blue line, right? And then it could do what we call break and retest, and then it could sell right back down, continue your downtrend, right? Now, this is what we would call a break and retest for a downtrend. Or the market could potentially do the exact opposite, right? Meaning the market could break up, right? I'm gonna change the color of this arrow. The market could break up, retest,
Yeah. Shoot back up.
impulse, right? So when you do a top-down analysis, right, which is what we just did, now we've made this entire chart, right? Let's break it back down to a day, right? So now that we're looking at this entire chart, we're looking at this whole chart and we're like, wow, what does this mean, right? I don't know when to enter. I don't know where to enter. But after we've applied a top-down analysis, if we was to look for our goal, 25 pips, we go down on 15 minutes. Now our decision just got easier because now we have two decisions, to make a buy or to make a sell.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So do you, when you're evaluating the market do you look at the market for certain setups? Like when you're like, say I'm going through, we just gonna say Forex pairs. Like say I'm going through different Forex pairs. Are you looking for a certain setup that's added to your strategy? Or are you looking for, or are you just going to certain pairs and basically just evaluating that pair and then figuring out how you want to enter if it's not based off, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
of course, yeah, that's what I basically mean. Like, yeah, that's what I mean, if you understand that.
okay, yeah, perfect question. Yeah, so now definitely with the strategy. Now I didn't really dive into my strategy at the moment, but I would add indicators, right? So right now I have a 450 cross, right? You'll see this green line is the 50 and this purple line is the 4. So that's one indicator I use. So I'll use other indicators like the Bollinger Band or for instance the stochastic oscillator for scalping. And so when actually looking at the market, right, those indicators help me form a strategy to help me create analysis, just kind of help me gauge if what I'm saying, if what I believe is going to happen is actually going to happen. So when I'm actually trading, right, I'm looking at this top-down analysis again, but I'm also looking at my strategies because the market could look like it's going up, right? I still need to make sure that I'm becoming aware of everything that the market is telling me because it may look like it's breaking and retesting and break up, but if I was to look at all of my strategies, are my confirmations lining up, right? How many confirmations do you have? How many and how consistent are your confirmations lining up? Are questions that I have to ask myself when trading because I need to be the most consistent. And so whether it's Forex or crypto, one thing that's pretty unique is they have sort of the similar construct and mannerism, meaning they kind of move the same in a sense. So the market, it will always reverse. So it will never continue to go up, it's going to come down, and it will never continue to go down, it's going to come up. Right. So just with that, it's just kind of having that patience, that discipline, but just kind of just that self-awareness in yourself. You got to have a trading plan. You got to have what I'm saying? It's so many things that tie into it. You got to have a checklist when you're trading, right? Am I aiming for my pips? Do I have all of my markups? Do I have my indicators? Do I have the strategy? Are my confirmations lining up? Every check must count, because again, you can have 7 out of 7 confirmations and still lose money, and
Right.
still lose that trade, because at the end of the day, the market is not your friend. The market does not want us to win, so you have to really kind of, just kind of learn as you trade, but also be cautious, be very intentional with how you go about it.
For sure. So what's something that you feel like could really help somebody mentally when they get in this type of game?
Yeah, man, that's a great question. The first thing I tell anyone, right, I've been investing for 4 years, right? You got to think of this as life. You're going to lose money. So when we talk about stocks, right, you may have seen people make millions of dollars off stocks, but realize how many people have lost millions of dollars on stocks, right? You may have seen people make thousands and millions of dollars off Forex, but imagine how many people have lost millions of Forex. So you got to come in with the mindset of knowing I have the chance to lose. But guess what? That's just like with anything else in life. I have a chance to fail in class. I have a chance to fail at my job. I have a chance to fail and not get the return on investment that I'm putting into my girlfriend, that I'm putting into my job, that I'm putting into myself. So you got to have that first. I feel like that's a first mental block that you have to break is I know that at some point I'm going to lose money. But if you want to be a millionaire, you can't be talking about becoming a millionaire, but you're not ready to lose $1,000. You know, a millionaire is going to spend $1,000 like it's nothing because it's $1,000. So if you can't lose $1,000 without wanting to lose $1,000, then you're not really ready to make that million, because millionaires have to lose thousands of dollars without wanting to lose thousands of dollars. You know, but before they lost the hundreds of thousands, they had to lose hundreds. You know, so it's kind of just, that's the first thing I would say. You want to tell yourself, I know for a fact that I can lose, and you know what I'm saying, that I have a chance to lose, and that's just the reality of it.
How can we associate knowing that I'm going to lose as something that can end up being beneficial? You see what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's really a hard part, to associate a loss with something that's, you know what I'm saying, can ultimately be beneficial, because we see losses as, oh, I gotta run away from it, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, it ain't for me, or oh, this is my stopping point. So with that being said, okay, me knowing that I'm gonna go into the market and I can chance to lose, well, how do I keep going? You see what I'm saying? Things like that.
Yeah, now that's a good question, man. Me personally, I relate that to my everyday life, you know, with my faith, you know, and with God. Me personally, you know, I'm a Christian, you know, and so I see it like this. At any given second, God can choose to take my life from me, right? So what matters? The time I have right now, right? The 1 second I have right now, because the next second I could be gone, just like that. Like I could literally, God forbid, have a heart attack at 22 years old on Zoom, and that'll be a natural death. They'll just say it was natural. They'll just say it was a natural cause. And so if having that awareness of, okay, what's most important now is the same thing as investing in a sense, because it's not about dying with investing, it's about losing. So having that understanding of, I could lose this money right now, but at the same exact time, I could make more right now, right? You could have put yourself in a position of losing $100, but you had a chance to gain 900. So why not take that risk and spend my time trying to turn 100 into 1,000 and get upset with losing that? Because at the end of the day, it's like you said, your goal. I'm working towards making $1,000. So I'm gonna fail at this as much as I can, because if I fail at anything else, it's not gonna give me any return.